That's right, guys. It's time to talk some football on Wake Up Barstool. We're going to be talking ball all day long. College football in hour number 1, NFL in hour 2. We've got all the best football minds on the show, and it all starts now on FS1.
Good start to the day.
The vibes are incredibly high. What's up, America? T-Bob here, Brandon Walker, Big T, Liam Blutman, and Dave Portnoy. Boys, it's time to talk a little NCAA. Brandon, as the host of the Brandon Walker College Football Show.
That's right.
The podcast that is exploding in popularity right now.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you a simple question to kick things off.
Yes.
Can the Indiana Hoosiers repeat as national champions?
I think it's the first time you've ever gone to me first on a Dave Portnoy show.
But this is the Brandon Walker College
Can they
Football
do
Show.
it? Can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? Probably not. But can they do it? Yes. There are 7 teams that can win the national title this year. They are firmly in that with all the defensive stuff they brought back. The quarterback, I don't know if they upgraded or if they downgraded, but I think he'll be good enough to keep them in games, and the defense will choke teams out. Yes, they can. Will they? Probably not.
Dave, would you like to weigh in on this matter as a fellow Big Ten head?
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with what Walker said. I mean, how can you doubt them at this point after what they did last year? But I think one thing that Brandon said, which I've heard a lot of people say, which is insane. You don't know whether they went up or down on the number 1 draft pick in the NFL, Fernando Mendoza, who, by the way, was great at Cal. I had this kid scouted at Cal. So this Hoover kid is nowhere in the near same stratosphere. So to be like, I don't know whether they went up and down when you lose the number 1 draft. They went down, and that would be the reason I say they can't. Because when they needed plays, Mendoza was there to answer the bell, not 99% of the time, 100% of the time. And this kid Hoover throws interceptions. I know he's in a different system. He's not the quarterback Mendoza is. I think, frankly, it took all of 8 seconds to have the first wildly disrespectful statement from Brandon Walker the college football season. He's not Mendoza.
You know what? It's a fair thing to come back at me about. It's a fair thing. But let's say he's 80% as good as Mendoza.
They don't win the title if he's 80% as good.
I still think they could.
Last year they don't win it, then you think they're better because they don't win it last year if he's not 100.
I think their defense is going to be outstanding this year. It's going to be elite. It's going to keep games in that 13-10 range. Remember, Mendoza didn't beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. The defense did.
So sorry, Brady, go ahead.
And there were times where the defense kept teams right there and allowed Mendoza to make the play. So you could tell me that Josh Hoover isn't like for 4 quarters as good as Mendoza, but if the barriers just make a play when he has to, I can't say that he can't do that.
And look, Hoover has the most stats already established entering the Cincinnati season compared to the other guys, but the defense is the highlight. Like, last year, it was almost inexplicable in terms of how they could be so dominant, despite being kind of undersized. Of course, they have the Broyles Award winner coach. Liam, do you think...
Hold on. I got to do one thing before you get to Liam.
Okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I want to do this. I want to introduce this to Dave. Dave, I know a guy who believes Josh Hoover is better than the number 1 overall draft pick, Heisman Trophy winner. I know a guy who believes Hoover is an upgrade from Fernando Mendoza. Yes, you have!
I've never said that. You can't upgrade from Heisman Trophy. Do I think he can get really close to that production given the system he's in, the reads you have to make? Yeah, I do. I think he can be really, really good. You hate Josh Hoover.
You said he was going to be better.
Wait, but there's something, Big T, and you said something that I think really makes sense and I agree with, and being a fan of your team, I think is very fair and seeing what you say. He is going to put up monster numbers. I'm not saying he's not going to put up monster numbers, but the plays that Mendoza made, crunch time, when you needed it, in big moments against top-tier teams, Hoover has never answered the bell like that. He's not that quarterback. Now, I'm not going to judge his numbers because, listen, David Klingler put up gigantic numbers at Houston, and then you go play Miami and you get boat raced. Give me when it mattered, and you're getting demolished against Miami, and they're cheap shotting you, and they're hitting personal fouls, and they're getting pressure. he answered the bell. When he throws an interception at Oregon, it comes right down the field and scores a touchdown. Those are the plays. Those are the difference-making plays. The difference between very good and generational, and have a whole crowd singing, Fernando by ABBA. That's what he doesn't have. So let's not look at the numbers. The numbers are going to be there. Anybody can play in a system and put up numbers. Anybody can. But is he going to make the game-winning championship plays? No.
Yeah, well,
That's fair, but we haven't seen him at a school where he's been given the opportunity to do that.
I don't know if Dave has even watched Josh Hoover, but he did fluke into saying something that is very right. He has faltered in second halves. He has faltered in fourth quarters. He has fallen apart. I do want to say, I think
Have I ever watched Josh Hoover?
Yeah, you just called out Dave for non-ball watching?
I was doing your best. I was doing your best.
Hell yeah, Liam. Get his ass.
I've seen him play a ton. In fact, I think all the way back to, there's a famous clip, I think, from Pick'em with Bosco, myself, and Big Cat talking about Hoover. I've watched Hoover play an absolute ton. Don't forget, I'm the guy who was walking. They still do this to me after we lost the playoff game. I watched him play.
They hate me
The
too.
spitting blood horn frog.
They're mean to me.
Josh Hoover just takes more risks, and I think he had to take more risk on a TCU team that was trailing, that was falling behind. The turnovers are going to be cut down.
42 turnovers in
watched
31
him
games is a lot.
I watched Mendoza play at Cal, and I'm like, who the hell is this kid? He was awesome.
Yeah.
And I watch Hoover, and Hoover looks like a college quarterback to me that puts up numbers, big, bad, but puts
That's
balls
fair.
in bad area. Now, if you want to say the coach can coach that out of him, but he's not, I mean, it's so disrespectful to be like, we're not going to lose much when you lost the Heisman Trophy, #1 pick in the draft.
I agree with that, but you are wrong. The fans are going to be doing the Hoover, so they do have a bit. Yeah, they got a bit there with the Fernando song.
All right, so but to a man, I think the kind of general consensus is Indiana can repeat, but we're not choosing them as the favorite to repeat.
Correct.
They're definitely capable. We can't bail.
They're not the favorite to win the Big Ten.
I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen with this
strongly.
Indiana defense with everything they lost and they've replaced. Like, can they stay as incredible as they were last year? But let's talk conferences. Let's talk Big Ten versus SEC, okay? Because a lot was made of the offseason about how the Big Ten is now dominating their premier conference. They are here to stay. Brandon, is this the year where the SEC punches back?
No, not at the top level, no. I think we're going to see our fourth straight Big Ten champion and our fourth different Big Ten champion. I think Oregon's going to win the national championship. I think they're the best team. In the SEC, if I go to the Big Ten, I look at Ohio State, I look at Oregon, I look at Indiana. You've only got two of those teams in the SEC. That's Texas and Georgia. And I don't believe LSU is going to be.
What is the time count on this show?
It's just a normal day.
No, I mean, so what? We're 4 minutes in now, 5 minutes.
We're about 8 or 9 minutes in.
into the show, and we have now had two wildly disrespectful comments from Brandon Walker.
Who did I disrespect?
Well, you disrespect Fernando Mendoza in that.
Are
opening
you
round.
going to sit here
Yeah,
and
no, wait,
say
let him
what I
finish.
think you're about to say?
Yes,
Is he about to fight?
He is.
You know what's
winged
crazy?
helmet. You just disrespected the maize and blue. You just disrespected the all-time winningest college football program in the history of the sport.
Alabama?
A team that's coming off a national championship not too long ago, and for the first time in a couple years has a coach who's focused on the game plan and not chasing short skirts outside. So that's two, Walker, in 8 minutes.
And
Too
Dave, you know what's
disrespectful.
crazy? He hates Josh Hoover. He
What
won't stop.
is your issue?
Whoa, hold on.
We're not talking about Josh Hoover right now. We're talking about him trying to include Michigan when you talk about Oregon.
All right, no, let's hold Big T's feet to the fire then. Does Michigan belong in that conversation?
In
Absolutely.
what conversation?
Like what Brandon just said, like
The national championship?
When Brandon highlights,
Big T.
Not right now. We haven't played the games yet.
when Brandon
well, then
highlights,
nobody's in it. I can live with that.
stop. When Brandon highlights Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, Georgia, Texas, does Michigan belong in there? Because to me, they do not.
No, because they don't have a quarterback that is able to get them there.
Correct.
What does that mean?
Means the quarterback's not good enough.
You might have paid Bryce Underwood too much money. You might have robbed you blind.
Listen, I've heard we're going to be running the heck out of the football with Bryce Underwood. And also, I don't know if you heard, there's a last name, a Carr, I believe, right? Well, don't we have one of them floating around if things go? We're going to
Good
go
ones in
back.
Notre Dame.
Don't we have his brother, though?
Yeah, but the good one's at Notre Dame.
And the other one's helping coach UCLA.
Listen, the good one wanted to come to Michigan, and we said we don't want you.
That was smart.
That wasn't that.
There's 7 teams that can win the national title. It's the 5 we mentioned, the 3 from the Big Ten, the 2 from the SEC, plus Miami, plus.
And we'll get into
What about
that
your
conversation
Oklahoma?
You've
more in
been
a little
saying
bit.
Oklahoma.
Dave, I've been wanting to ask you about this.
setting
Unshy.
it up.
And
Gun
Dave,
shy.
we're gonna get there next, but I wanted to ask you about this, Michigan, Dave, with Michigan. This schedule, yes,
tough.
you're waving me
Continue.
off.
I'll continue. Continue. Please.
This schedule is brutal. A full third of Michigan's schedule made the college football playoff last year. They get the big 3. You're at Ohio State. You're at Oregon. You get Indiana at home. But then you also have Iowa. You have Minnesota. You have Penn State. You have Oklahoma out
All
of
right, here we go.
conference.
Unbiased. You want unbiased? First of all, what I was going to say, and we're talking Hoover goes to Indiana and players shifting around. The biggest improvement made by any team in the entire country was made by Michigan in the upgrade at the head coaching position. Period. End of story.
It's not a
So
bad argument.
you're going
That
to
may
see a
actually
different
be true.
team come out this year. Now let's go through the schedule. Western Michigan, Ypsilanti, demolished. Oklahoma
Well,
at
no,
home.
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, excuse me. That's Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
Is yeah. all right.
Eastern's Ypsilanti. Yeah.
Yeah, UTEP doesn't even know how to.
What'd you
they're
say for
doing.
Oklahoma?
You said W. You said 2-0.
Absolute win. Absolute win at home.
My God.
Sets the tone. Table setter. Probably a
think Green
playoff
curse
winning
there.
game right there. Iowa at home, close, ugly, lots of points, win. Minnesota, they stink. Penn State at home, easy. Indiana at home, we beat them.
Nope.
Rutgers at Rutgers, forget about it. Michigan State, little brother, they'll be good. They'll be a team to worry about in 2 or 3 years. I hate to say it. I like the coach. He's a good coach. They'll be somebody, but not this year. At Oregon, loss. Home UCLA, too cold. UCLA, see ya. At Ohio State, win. There you go. So 1-loss season. And by the way,
11-1.
we can
8-4.
lose 2 games, maybe 3 games, and probably still get in the playoffs was the schedule.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to hit you with the Blutman bros back-to-back, 12 and 13.
Yeah, let me tell you this. UCLA is going to be one of those teams that are going to be wearing winter gear. They're not even going to be able to move.
Brandon, you say 8-4.
8-4. 8-4. They're losing to Oklahoma in
No,
week
they're
2. Oklahoma is bringing back. They have a better quarterback. They have a better everything. They have a better everything than Michigan does.
No, they don't.
That's why they beat the crap out of Michigan last year.
Who was the head coach of Michigan last year?
Sharon Moore.
What was he doing?
Who's the quarterback this year? Same
Bryce
guy
Underwood.
that sucked last year.
Head coach. Listen, our head coach had his
I'm
head
aware.
in the intern's playbook. He didn't have it in the actual playbook.
Well, and
You're wrong.
coming up next, let's go. Look, we're going to go to break here. Coming up next, Brandon Walker
Some
will
girls with
tell
butter
you.
knives. We're trying to win a championship here.
Brandon Walker will tell you the teams that are actually capable of winning the national title this year.
Segments, so we're gonna do the same thing. He's already said it 10 times.
Well, I'm gonna do
And
it
we'll look
again.
at some
I got another
teams
team to
maybe
add.
right outside of it. More Wake Up Barstool here on FS1. Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. This is the football show, all college football hour 1, all NFL hour 2. Brandon Walker of the Brandon Walker College Football Show. Tell us the teams that are capable of winning national championship this year.
Okay, I kind of
Trying
spoiled
to
it.
waterboard these people on the treadmills.
I kind of spoiled it in segment 1, but there's 7, but I'm adding an 8th. The 7 are Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State from the Big Ten, Georgia, Texas from the SEC, Notre Dame, and Miami, but I'm adding 1. It's also from the SEC. The Oklahoma Sooners, I'm adding. I think they have the quarterback who's 6 weeks in last year. He was a Heisman contender. He got hurt. Wasn't good the rest of the season. The defense will be elite, might be a top 3 defense in the entire country. They went to the playoff last year, gave up the big. They were up 17-0, had an embarrassing loss. I think they learn from that. They go forward. You know, so many teams have gone to the playoff, got humbled like Indiana, come back, and they've won it. I like Oklahoma as the 8th team behind those other 7. There's other great teams in the country, but I don't think Texas Tech has the quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think Texas A&M is very good at all. And Ole Miss, I think, is going to fall without Lane Kiffin. And I don't believe in Alabama, so I have
Why?
Oklahoma.
Why? Now let me rephrase that because Lane Kiffin's a really good football coach. They have what could be the Heisman Trophy winner.
You're talking about Ole Miss.
Talk about Ole
I'm
Miss
talking
right
about
now.
Ole Miss. They have an awesome running back.
Yeah.
They went in to a playoff game without Lane Kiffin, beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Nobody
Who they
gave
had
him a
already-
chance
Who
to
they
do
had
that.
already played and had a game plan for. And
Yeah, they should have beat him twice.
And Charlie Weiss Jr. was there for the.
They might have the best player in the country.
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss is
I
my
just don't think
QB1.
you lose a top 5 or 6 coach in the country and get better. I don't think that's possible.
Maybe not, but they might be just as good.
Fair.
So you want Ole Miss on this list?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't pick them to win the title, but I think they're capable.
The circular logic of Walker, who starts the show with Indiana, maybe didn't lose anything, and they lost the #1 pick in the Heisman Trophy winner. But Ole Miss is now dead because they lost their coach. Is something.
It's a great
I didn't
point,
say they
boss.
were dead. At no point did I say they're dead.
And not to mention, he's talking about the coaching, how important it is, and he won't mention in the same breath that Michigan upgraded the biggest upgrade in the country.
Oh, well, let me stop right there because I have been nothing but big on this Whittingham hire. I think it's a huge upgrade. They basically didn't have a head coach for a couple of years.
Exactly.
And they self-imposed a probation from cheating a couple of years ago. So they had to have the guy. Now he's gone. They have an actual head coach for the first time. But he's got to get some rot out of that program. That program's not ready to win a national title.
We'll see.
Dave, do you think Michigan should be on this list?
Why
Of course
do
I
you?
do.
Okay, I'm just double checking where we're on that.
Moderating.
Oh, Dave's just a homer. Dave's just this. People act like we're not the premier program in the history of college football.
You're
We
not.
are.
Alabama
We're
has a
always
much
loaded.
better
The cupboard
program.
is always loaded now that we have a coach.
You've
We're
won
not.
one national title
All
since
right,
1948.
so we talked about Oklahoma. Let's get into some of those other teams. Like, okay, out of those 8, who should be the favorite? I find myself more and more starting to get sucked into the Oregon hype. Just from a raw talent standpoint, they are as jam-packed of a roster as I've ever seen.
They have the best roster.
They have the returning quarterback. Losing the coordinators is really kind of the only red flag. T, out of those 8, who's your favorite to win it all?
Oh, Texas. Texas might not lose. I'm
You're
so high
trusting
on
Sark.
Texas.
You're trusting Sark despite not having the best history in the massive game.
He's gone to the Final Four twice.
Yeah, like we do this thing with
He's
coaches.
like 5 and 15 against top 10 teams. Lanning
their
6 and 6.
offense-
You always talk about Lanning not being able to win the big game. He's been objectively much better than Sark in big games.
I don't know if that's true, but go ahead.
6 and 6.
I think
and
they're
5
about
and
the
15.
same, but they're both awesome coaches. Like they both have elite programs. Their offense has the Avengers this year. Like they're going to be incredible.
Is there enough ball to go around, satisfy everyone?
I think so. I think they'll make do with one ball.
At
What about
Tennessee,
Notre Dame?
at LSU.
I love Notre Dame.
Schedule's tough.
I mean,
best
there
cornerback
is
in the
a
country.
very real chance Texas loses like 3-4 games.
Texas has an
All off
incredible
after
schedule. If
Ohio
Texas
State.
does go undefeated with this schedule, then yeah, they should
Yeah,
be
major
the
props.
national championship favorite entering the playoffs. Because this will battle
Be like
test
plus
you.
175.
Notre Dame can win the national title, by the way, to answer his question.
So yes, but Notre Dame's kind of the inverse of it from a schedule perspective.
They have 2 games.
Where they
Schedules
got
aren't teams.
2 games. They're going to sleepwalk through it. I still wonder if Notre Dame's going to be ready for the fight if they haven't been bloodied up all year long. I mean, Miami will have a chance to catch them on the chin.
BYU, that's going to be a tough game to
Yeah,
win. I don't care.
those are the
Going
two.
into BYU's tough.
Those are
They'll
the
beat
two.
Miami at home, I think. They'll have 1 loss. And what is this new wrinkle? Like if in the top 12, they're automatically
Yeah, they're
in,
automatically in.
which is still the craziest thing. I actually did a future bet based on this. I actually did 2. One's already dead, but I have an active. The Red Sox making the ALCS and Notre Dame win the national title at 70-1.
I mean, it might happen.
Well, it's like if Notre Dame, I'm not going to root for them, but you can always hedge, and they're almost guaranteed. Like even if they lose both those games, they're probably a top 12 team.
Yeah, they're never coming out of the top 12. They're starting so
Yeah.
high. They're never coming out of the top 12.
So Liam, we talked a lot of Michigan. We haven't really touched on Ohio State yet. They return everybody offensively. The whole O-line's back. Say in year 2. Bo Jackson back. Jeremiah Smith. Adding Chris Henry. Defensively, still super talented on paper, but replacing a ton. Where do you think Ohio State belongs in this conversation?
Right at the top.
I'm saying, would would they be your pick out of the 18?
No, my pick out of these 8 teams is Georgia. Georgia is who I actually want to talk about that we haven't talked about. If Mike Bobo could grow some stones, they are the true favorite to win national championship. Defensively, they are loaded. They have the best secondary in the country. They've got like 3 legitimate, bona fide NFL cornerbacks on their roster right now. Ellis Robinson's fantastic. Gentry Williams coming over from OU. They are stacked beyond belief. This kid Zyke Helton at right guard is going to be a true freshman starter. Georgia's loaded. It just comes down to, can Mike Bobo call a competent offensive game?
Probably
Well,
not.
they got to be
not.
more. They just got to
That's
be
the
explosive. They've had no
that
big
falls
turns
on
last year,
Bobo.
offensively and defensively though. Even
Can I
last.
comment on
They
Ohio
have.
State? This
Yes.
is an
Yes.
honest thing. If Reuben Bain basically cost Ohio State the national championship because he destroyed the game. Like hut snap pressure. The only chance you're going to have to stop Ohio State is immediate, relentless pressure on the quarterback because they're just way too talented. The kid Henry's a superstar. They already have Jeremiah Smith, the running back. I think the quarterback, if you give him time, is excellent. If you don't have an instant pass rush and dominate Ohio State at the line of scrimmage like Ruben Bain can do, a disruptor, you have no chance versus them. None.
But they play several teams that have that. They play Texas, who has it. They play
Colin
Indiana,
Simmons,
who has
the
it.
best in the best.
Do they have a Ruben Bain guy?
Yeah. Colin Simmons
Texas
for
does.
Texas
Colin
is the number
Simmons
one
is a
edge rusher
standout.
in college football.
Because
He's
I'm telling you, that is as talented an offense as I think we've ever seen.
Indiana's got, from a technical and veteran experience standpoint, I don't think the Ohio State running back, Bo Jackson's that guy. I feel like he has a lot of Master Teague in him from a few years ago. He's got no wiggle, really doesn't move you at the second level. They really like this freshman receiver, Brock Boyd, too. I think he's a guy that's going to get a lot of run.
The white kid from Texas?
Yes, he's filthy.
Yeah.
So the one team we haven't talked about, now you alluded to it kind of, Dave, with Ruben Bain, is Miami. They're in an ACC that they are like just heads and like they are leaps and bounds beyond anybody else in the conference.
Yeah.
Do we believe in Cristobal in Miami, though, now at this point, where we grant them the rank of, yes, they'll be back, yes, they can win the Natty, even after they lose a combo like Bain, Mesidor, they lose Beck, who's looked pretty good thus far in the preseason in the NFL. Do we think that Miami belongs in this conversation now?
100% yes.
They are in the right.
100% yes, because they reloaded the line of scrimmage too. I know they lost Mesidor and Bain, but they reloaded it. And last year they were miles above the ACC too, and somehow figured out a way not to win it.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a Miami team that 2 years ago went 10-2, last year went 10-2, and when they got to the playoff, they were just so much better at the line of scrimmage than everybody else. Now they're going to beat them in different ways. The quarterback, they brought in the receiver from Duke who was outstanding, and they still have Malachi Toney.
The receiver, Cooper Barcade, is
He's unbelievable.
A true problem. Him as your two next to Toney's an absolute joke. Mensa, there are so many highs and lows, though. Like, his tape is littered with absolute greatness and absolute travesties. It really needs to even out and be a consistent, true quarterback.
But you could have said the same thing about Carson Beck at Georgia.
You could have.
And he had a good year last year.
Yeah, a little different where he's coming from. They're real. I mean, I don't know how you can't say they're real. They're a whisker away from winning the national championship. They beat Ohio State in the playoffs. So, yeah, they're very real. Shout out Danny Boy Kane. Breaking news, and then the internet tries to take him down. Danny Boy Kane is never wrong. He's just early. But, yeah, they're very real. And I'll tell you, as we talk about this, in a team that we don't have on the list, but I am a absolute Sam Levitt believer. Like, I am a Sam Levitt truther. I think he's awesome. So I think you could see a gigantic uptick in LSU as well.
So
because
why
of
is
Sam
that?
Levitt.
Well, hold on. So I do want to parlay this into like the next tier of teams. LSU is definitely in that grouping. Teams that are maybe right outside but are still going to be very good. Okay, T wanted you to expound on that, Dave. Why are you such a believer in Levitt?
I got eyeballs, baby. Like, I watch him. I watch him play a ton, and he's the real deal. All the way dating back to that game we talked about, Arizona State against Texas in the playoffs, where they had him beat. They had Texas beat. I just think he's very good. I think everything about LSU in that environment, he's going to have 4 to 10 co-eds on the bench. In between series. He's just everything that you want out of an LSU quarterback. Dirty, gritty, into the girls, and you combine him with an offensive genius in Lane Kiffin. I think this offense is going to be rolling.
Some health questions.
You're
though.
right about the Lane thing, but I don't know if you watched Levitt play last year. All I know is he walked into Starkville, Mississippi against one of the worst defenses in the country and threw 75 yards. He had Scatterville a couple years ago, and he had Jordan Tyson, a top 10 pick at receiver, a top 15 pick, whatever it was.
Yeah.
An elite wide receiver. And last year he was just outright bad for most of the year. And
His offensive line didn't even think of blocking. Not even thought about it.
That's such a convenient excuse for a guy that didn't make a difference at all last year.
They did produce a first-round pick offensive lineman, too. Do you think LSU could win the national championship?
I think they're going to be a surprise team with him at the helm. Yes.
Would you buy them at plus 1,800?
Why are we letting him say these things? They wouldn't be a surprise team. They're like 8th in odds. They're not a surprise team.
They're 18-1. You would buy that?
18-1 is a surprise.
That's not a surprise.
They're
ahead of Ole Miss.
LSU has them pretty.
18-1 is not a surprise.
They're ahead of Alabama. They're ahead of Ole Miss. They're ahead of A&M. They're ahead of a lot of teams.
18-1 is not a surprise.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I live in a different world. Give me all your 18-1 winners.
Yeah, they're 8th in
I'll
odds.
eat them for breakfast.
They.
I'd love an 18-1 winner.
If they're in the top 10 of teams that can
You
win
don't
the
think
national
LSU
title.
is a surprise?
No, I don't, because they spent $40 million on their roster and went out and got a top 5 coach. That's not a surprise.
Like
18-1.
Florida would be a surprise.
$40 million on their roster. That's not a surprise. That's an investment.
Money. Listen, we spent on a quarterback too. Doesn't always spend 18-1. We have different definitions of surprise.
I mean, LSU, to be fair,
They're not a surprise.
To be fair to Dave's, I get what you're saying, but to be fair to Dave's point, LSU's been bad. They're 5-18.
I don't care about any of that. Doesn't matter anymore. You are reloading every single year. The top programs are investing so much money
but
every
do you
single
consider
year. What
18-1
happened
a
last year
surprise,
does not
Blutman?
matter. I
We're
don't.
just talking basic mathematics.
I understand where you're coming from. I think it depends on sport to sport. In college football, where there's so many teams, they're the 8th of 135 teams or whatever in odds. Like, it's not a surprise to me. They are in the upper echelon of teams.
Well,
they're
why don't
right
we-
there
I
out.
have a take.
They're right there outside of the.
We hadn't
But that's not
even
the
mentioned them
conversation
yet
They're
on this
at the
show.
very
They-
top
Brandon
of the
Walker-
second tier of
Brandon
teams. That's
Walker-
not a surprise.
Brandon Walker has done somehow 14 segments already on this show about his title contenders, and he hadn't mentioned LSU once. And then I say LSU, and he's like, that's not a surprise. Well, why didn't you mention him in the first 14 segments you did talking about title contenders?
What's your take?
Not a good point.
He kind of just got you. My take is I don't know that there's such a thing as a surprise anymore in college football.
Indiana did just win a national title.
Right.
Hey, why we even do this show then?
No. I'm saying in that. No, let me finish.
No
We don't know
surprises. There's no
anything.
surprises.
We don't know anything about any team going into the year.
We know
Like
Williams
Indiana-
got loaded.
that's
You're lying
true.
when you
But
say that.
Indiana last
That's
year was
true.
the best team in the country. Nobody had any idea going into the season.
Yeah, I would
That's
say
not
that's a surprise.
true.
It is,
chose
but
them
in
to
the
win
sense
Big
that
Ten.
like every team is so new, anybody can be a surprise.
They hired Lane Kiffin, and they spent $40 million on the roster.
Yeah, but to Dave's point, the
you didn't mention
conversation
them in your
we're
first
yeah,
14
yeah,
segments.
like we literally said they're not in the national.
We were gonna get to
championships
them.
here.
But
All right.
Brandon
All right.
Walker might not mention them, but if you pull 1,000 college football people, they will mention LSU, 950 times?
Time out. We're getting lost in semantics here.
When does that stop us?
Well, because we have to go to break.
Okay.
And when we get back, it's time to talk some college football superlatives. Teams not
Surprise teams.
How about this? Teams not enough people are talking about. Teams that people are talking about too much.
How about title contenders within Brandon Walker's title contenders?
Schedule merchants? The title contenders that are right outside of Brandon Walker's title contenders, of which LSU is maybe first on the list.
The group of 5 team he's going to relentlessly bully all year.
All right, guys, it's been a fun day breaking down college football. Let's get into some superlatives. I'm going to throw a question out. Y'all give me answers. The teams that people are not talking about enough. Liam Blutman, give us one.
He's going to say mine.
What?
You're going to say mine.
No.
Oh,
Guys, you got 10 minutes. Liam, go.
Louisville.
Okay.
Did I say
Said
yours?
mine.
Why did you start with him? Why did you start with him?
Oh, I'm sorry. Who put Brandon Walker on Louisville in the
I
first
put you
place?
on him.
Oh, yeah, right. That's a load of baloney. Louisville has been on Blutman's radar since April.
Okay, so it's a good answer, obviously, if both the hosts of the Brandon Walker College Football Show agree. Why Louisville?
He's not a host.
Look
Stop!
at their schedule.
Why Louisville?
T-Bob, look at their schedule.
Okay.
It's over by week 3.
2 toughest games are within the first 3 weeks of the season. The first one's the neutral site in Nashville. They're going to start season 3-0 with their 2 great resume wins already. This just comes down to the quarterback. It's Lincoln Keenholz. He's going to be a true boomer bust. If his ceiling is as high as I think it is, as it was as Ohio State saw when they pull him away from Washington, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and Wyoming, for Ohio State to swoop in and steal a quarterback prospect from those schools really tells you something what they think about the guy. I'm high on Keenholz. Isaac Brown's also got to be healthy at running back. We'll see.
Isaac Brown's averaging almost 8 yards a carry for his
He is
career in
absolutely
college.
disgusting. He needs to stay on the field.
Yeah.
He's as game-breaking of a back as there is.
Big T, team we're not talking about enough.
I said my real one already, which is Ole Miss. I think they're a dark horse national title team. If I had to pick another one,
Preseason top 10.
Everybody pump it. Go.
you
T.
say they suck.
Go, T. Go. Don't.
I think we haven't talked about them. I think some people are talking about Penn State. They import Rocco Becht and half of the Iowa State roster. They have a terribly light schedule.
Easy schedule.
So I would say those two.
Dave, you got a team that you think that is flying under the radar here?
Yeah, a team that plays out in Utah, BYU.
Yeah, love them.
Bravo Dave.
They had a great season last year. Quarterback's back, the freshman Buckmeyer. I think a huge win in the momentum of the program that they kept the coach when everybody was saying the coach was going to leave. Utah, meanwhile, loses their coach to Michigan. I think BYU takes another step forward. They were disrespected all last year, but that Arizona game is a big game. Arizona's not bad. They can beat Iowa State at home. They can beat Notre Dame at home. So, yeah, I think this is a big year for BYU again.
I think there's 12 teams in college football that have won over 70% of their games the last 3 years. BYU's the only one not to make the playoff. I think this is a year maybe they get it done as well. How about this for a team? And I don't think they're going to threaten championships, but Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has a top 10 quarterback in Drew Mestemaker. They have a top 10 running back. They have a top 10 wide receiver in Caleb Harkins and Wyatt Young. They have a fan base that is obsessed with football, was used to winning, has been as down in the dumps as anybody. Like, the excitement's there. The Big 12's pretty wide open. Again, I'm not under any illusions that they're going to threaten championships, but this will be a team that bursts back to relevance and bursts back to prominence. The Oklahoma State Cowboys. This is like going to be my side team this year. Like, outside of LSU, this is a team that I'm going to be tapping in on.
Call if you're right on this. I mean, going 1-13 last year.
But like,
Do I not get
we're in this era of the
Liam
sport.
took yours.
Got 8.
We're in this era of the sport where what you did last year truly does not matter when there's a full makeover that they did in the portal and coaching staff and everything. I'm with T-Bob on Oklahoma State. Like, I'm betting them to make the playoff. Also, Trey Page, running back.
Take everybody's team, dude.
Pace back, Joyce. Like, you're taking my teams.
No,
Okay, what's your team, Brandon?
bad hosting. Bad hosting to start 1, 2, 3, and then skip to yourself. That was bad hosting.
I agree with that. Bad hosting.
The Houston Cougars. Yeah, we're talking about the wide open Big 12. There are teams that are going to come out of nowhere here. Houston was sneaky 10-win team last year. Houston is Willie Fritz has been building up that roster. He hit on a lot of transfers, and I think he's going to hit on some more this year. The Houston Cougars.
All right, Brandon, why don't you tell us a team that we're talking too much about?
Texas
Can't let
A&M.
him touch you like that.
Texas A&M.
Oh man, he stole my team.
Shut up. Texas A&M is going to start in the top 10, top 11. Last year, they were purely a product of their schedule. They were 7-0 in the SEC at one point. They had played teams ranked 10th through 16th in the SEC. 7 teams, all 7 were in the bottom 7 of the SEC.
Yeah.
Then they played Texas, they got beat. Then they played Miami, they got beat again. This is a team, the schedule gets harder. They will come down to earth. The quarterback is just okay. Offensive and defensive line retooled. This team is going to win 7-8 games.
Replacing basically all their O-line, D-lines.
Yeah.
Tough.
Tough.
Dave, team that's getting talked about too much.
Good hosting.
Well, I hadn't had anybody on this list. Team that people are talking about too much. Now you gotta come back to me.
right.
What I was thinking there is I hate.
I'll go here. I think it's USC for me. And it's not that I get why J.D. Maiava leads the nation in QBR last year. Their offense has been awesome.
Real stat.
Their schedule's just too hard. Their schedule's just too hard.
That string of 6 games is vile.
They're 15-15 in their last 30 games against Power 4 teams. And now you're going to tell me that they're going to survive this schedule and they're going to make a playoff with this schedule? There's just no way.
You're talking about the 6-game stretch that ends with UCLA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I'm also really hoping that stinking Lincoln's coaching there next year too.
Big T, who are we talking about too much?
Oklahoma.
Oh.
Tier fell off dramatically last year. He got hurt, but he just was not the same guy. They relied on an outstanding defense to win the amount of games that they did. They blew a huge lead to a terrible Alabama team in the playoff. I don't see it. And Brandon has them as a national title contender. I do not see
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
it.
if you're going down
I'm
this
with
list, I
Brian
can't
on
even
that.
pick somebody. Ohio State deserves it. Oregon deserves it. Georgia deserves it. Texas deserves it. Notre Dame, Indiana, Miami, A&M's already been taken. Oklahoma, Ole Miss deserves it. Alabama, no one's talking about. Texas Tech, nobody's talking about. LSU, I'm the only one talking about. USC's mentioned. I mean, so I don't think there's any clear frauds in this group.
All right, then, Liam, do you have an answer real quick?
Dave touched on it. My answers were A&M or Oklahoma. I would say Alabama, but not enough people. People aren't talking about Alabama, but I don't think they should be ranked 11 in the coaches poll. I do think they are ranked too highly. I think they will be overrated by people. I think, unfortunately, what Kalen DeBoer, who I love, has done to this program is they are a shell of themselves. They are soft. They are finesse. It is not Alabama. It is not the Alabama that I grew up seeing. Keelan Russell or Austin Mack. Alabama's just
It's
not.
going to be Keelan Russell from everything I've heard.
Yes. Alabama is just not the imposing threat that I grew up with them as, so it'd be Alabama for me, I guess.
Now, the only
Once
thing
you
about
lose to
Alabama,
Vanderbilt or struggle with Vanderbilt, you cross it out. They're a shell of themselves.
They're soft.
I
Their
agree,
star
but
wide
this-
receiver, Ryan Williams, walks around with a stuffed dino plushie.
this is kind of a relatively friendly schedule. Like, if you were to rank this in the SEC, I think
They're
going to
lose.
the
What?
easiest.
I almost got myself in trouble there saying it's going to happen. They could lose to Kentucky.
Watch that week 2
100%
at
they
Kentucky.
could lose.
Yeah, they
Kentucky.
could lose.
Yeah.
Georgia
100%.
at Tennessee, at LSU.
I almost
A&M,
said
it's not
guaranteed.
easy.
Because nothing in the SEC is easy in a 9-game schedule, but
They
relative
play
to,
soft football.
Georgia.
relative to other schedules, this actually ranks among the more
That
friendly.
schedule's not. That schedule is.
I mean, yeah, it's not.
Go look at it ranked. Go look
They're
at
not playing
the SEC
Texas,
strength of schedule rankings. Like, look at any metric you
where
want.
is it?
You also remember
Alabama's anywhere from 1 to 3 in terms of easiest.
You also remember Florida State
yeah,
thumped
to
them.
my eyes, that's a tough
I have a
schedule.
vision of Walker running on the sidelines, pulling up his pants till he gets his heart ripped out in week 5.
No, we're taking one of them down this year.
Are you going?
I got to go to one of those games. I don't know. We don't know our schedule yet. So I'll go to a game in October, either at Alabama or Oklahoma.
All right, so I like that we arrived at a few consensus takes here, namely that LSU should be in the conversation even though guys aren't talking about them enough. It's a great point, guys. All right, we're going to wrap up this college football hour 1 next. Dave, thank you so much. Brandon, thank you, T. And then we got plenty of NFL coming up hour 2 here on Wake Up Barstool. Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool, guys. Closing out our college football hour, NFL hour coming up next. We finally got rid of the dead weight.
Finally, dude. And then there were two.
Yeah, and then
maybe
there were two, dude.
maybe a preview of the national championship.
T-Bob and Bloody, baby. Yeah, LSU UCLA for sure.
Ruins Tigers.
All right, so I want to talk conference champions, want to make some predictions, but you said you got a bet here,
Yeah,
Liam.
yep. I got one. I was looking through last night, looking at the odds for conference championships, and I came to terms. Oh, earpiece file. Where are you going?
You're good, you're good.
I came to terms with one conference champion at value I really like. It's plus 750 for the Memphis Tigers to win the American. T-Bob, I know you're not a big group of 5 guy. Mm-hmm. And they call it the group of 6 now, whatever.
Well, it is because the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Pac
With the
9,
Pac-12,
Pac-8.
the Pac-12's so dead, whatever. It's still a corpse in itself. The Memphis Tigers return almost nothing. It is a completely new roster littered with transfers everywhere. A lot of guys who are very keen to Charles Huff. All Charles Huff has done in his coaching career is when he won at Marshall, they booed him for whatever reason. Guy won at Notre Dame. Never forget when I predicted that like 5 weeks before his team won that game. I've been a Charles Huff truther forever. Goes to Southern Miss, wins. Goes to Memphis. I think this was addition by subtraction from Memphis. I think they upgraded a head coach from Silverfield to Huff. Silverfield getting the Arkansas job. It's a tough schedule. Their 5 toughest games are all on the road too, so it stinks. Talent-wise, I think that this is one of the top 3 teams in the Group 5. It's just a tough schedule.
All right, so that's a good look. That's a good long odds play. If you want a little value, check out the Tigers. Let's look at the Power 4. ACC. Like, ACC to me is, okay, Miami's clearly going to win it, whatever.
Yeah.
The more interesting thing in the ACC is who's going to be that second best team.
For sure.
But so we both agree Miami wins ACC. Big
I have
12.
Miami over Louisville.
Big 12, is it as simple as Texas Tech to you? Because they have the easiest powerful schedule in the entire country. I love BYU. I just don't think BYU can hang
Yeah, I'm taking
on a mano-to-mano basis.
What do you have for your championship game?
I'm undecided.
BYU?
I got a similar thing with the ACC going on where I'm kind of between maybe like BYU, potentially Oklahoma State getting frisky in there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my balls on the table and go. You get nowhere being a coward. I'll go Texas Tech, Oklahoma State in the Big 12 title game. I'm very, very big on Oklahoma State. I love the coaching staff. It's not just Moritz, it's Brophy too. Brophy's gonna be a star in the coaching room.
So those are the two obvious ones. So AC and Big 12 are kind of decided. Let's go SEC. This feels like a Georgia-Texas race. Where do you land?
Georgia, LSU, Georgia wins.
Okay.
I'm not as keen on Texas as everyone else. I do think attitudes come into play. I don't think there's enough ball to go around. I love Cam Coleman. I'm also very aware of the fact that he has an attitude problem. And if he's not getting the ball enough, he's not going to be happy. I'm very aware that Arch Bang played a great second half last year. His first half wasn't good. Is Sark fully locked in? I'm not so sold on the fact that he is. I'm very worried about Texas because of that early Ohio State game and that could set a domino effect where you're tripped up after.
All right, I'm going to go. I think I am going to go chalk and go Texas there. For the Big Ten, I think Oregon wins again. I think Dan Lanning gets a reputation that is ill-deserved for a guy that never gets upset. He won 2 playoff games last year. I think the Oregon Ducks are also my national title team.
UCLA over Indiana.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Excellent. Go Bruins. All right.
No, real answer, Oregon over Indiana.
Okay.
I think Ohio State will like the position that they're in where they're like a 6, 7, 8 seed.
And they're going to be terrifying. They're going to be a danger.
Right.
Yeah. I actually agree with that. Let's look at Heisman odds, guys. Let's see where it stands entering the year. CJ Carr, now the odds-on betting favorite.
Who do you like?
I mean, I don't think the team is going to have the success. I have Trinidad Chambliss as my number 1 quarterback in the country because of his ability. He's a gamer. The game where he graded out best last year was the playoff game against Georgia.
Yes.
Without Lane Kiffin, when the pressure was the highest, when everything was working against him. That said, from a pure value standpoint here, Sam Levitt's kind of tough to get away from, dude.
I agree I don't think there is value in Carr, Manning, Moore, Mensah, Sayin, Hoover, Smith, Stockton. I don't think any of them are good value bets. So many of these, Jeremiah needs the perfect situation, needs to be in a pass-heavy offense where they are throwing and giving them every single stat to accumulate. CJ Carr doesn't have the schedule that, to me, warrants a Heisman Trophy winner.
He won't,
Arch Manning, I've already spoken about Texas. Dante Moore, they could go undefeated and he still might not put enough numbers to warrant winning the Heisman. That's why this year I'm taking 2 long shots. I'm taking Drew Messamaker at 65-1. If I'm so bought in on Oklahoma State, well, guess what? If they're winning 10 games, Messamaker's throwing for how many yards, how many touchdowns, how many viral clips? Messamaker's going to go nuclear, and then Lincoln Keenhol's at 101. I'll take the shot on the high ceiling that he has. I've done it once where I said, hey, Marky Blutman, go bet Lamar Jackson to win the Heisman. He didn't do it. Lamar won the Heisman. He was 125, 150-1. Keenhol's always take the shot. If Louisville goes undefeated like I think they are capable of, we could see it. All right. Why not?
There it is, guys. A couple of long shots there from our guy, Liam Blutman. I cannot wait for college football season to start. It's the best time.
National champion?
No, I think Oregon. I'm going chalk. I'm going Oregon. What about you?
Woof, woof.
Georgia?
Yeah.
There it is.
I'm going to hate
the
that.
The more things change,
I'm going to hate that.
College football's in the books. Let's talk NFL coming up next hour here on Wake Up Barstool. Grab a coffee, lock in. It's time to get you ready for football season. What's happening, y'all? Hour 2 of WUB. Weekend's almost here, guys. Thursday. Stay strong, and it's time to move from college football to the NFL. And we've done some shifting of the seats. Our guy Liam moving behind the desk, and we welcome in Stephen Cheah, Ebo, Connor Griffin. Boys, what's going on? How we doing?
Football. Yeah, I must have missed the memo on wearing NFL stuff. I didn't know this was the NFL preview.
No, I mean, look, I guess I might have missed the memo. I think Liam missed the memo as well.
I missed the memo
You actually didn't miss
But
it.
we wore our ball nowhere hats, so.
Which is good, because that's what we're going to attempt to do this hour. First off, point of order, I think this is the only NFL preview show you will find in the entire country in which you have 3 of the 4 NFC South teams represented here. So congratulations to us, the most forward-thinking NFC South television show that there is.
Congrats, guys.
All right, so over this hour, we're going to look at the NFL as a whole, okay? We're going to talk about teams that we could potentially see burst onto the scene, teams that we could see regress, but we're going to start with that most warm and comfortable of conversations. Who can win the Super Bowl? Let's go to our data guy, Stephen Cheah, first candidate. Who's the team that you believe is actually capable of lifting Lombardi by season's end?
I'm not going to say the favorite. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
And they've been close before, and they've had a changing of the guard. So, new head coach, new coordinator. Is this the year Lamar can get it done? A couple years ago with Todd Monken, if they're just running the football with Derrick Henry, which was the strength of that team the entire year, most people felt like they had a good chance against Kansas City. They obviously did not do that. It didn't go according to plan. This year, can they get it done? I think the pressure is on Lamar to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, incredible 2 years ago, step back, definitely be a candidate for taking a step forward given the injuries and whatnot last year. Connor, who jumps out to you?
I mean, I'm wearing the jersey.
That's just, I mean, okay.
Okay, well, I'll go.
Besides the Philadelphia Eagles,
somewhere
you'll
else.
have your chance to talk
Kansas
Eagles.
City Chiefs, who I absolutely despise, but a team that obviously is rebounding big time this year. Patrick Mahomes coming off of a terrible injury, and they go out and they get the Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker, add him to the offense. I like what I'm seeing out of Kansas City. Maybe a last run for Travis Kelce, but this team definitely is due for a come-up in 2026.
Ebo, you're a math guy. One of the more shocking offseason statistics that I was reminded of. So the Chiefs won, I think, 17 one-score games in a row, like 2 years ago and a little bit before that. Unreal NFL record. I think they were 1-9 in those games last year. So do you expect the Chiefs to kind of, like, does that go back to the mean? Does that even out now that you've had both of the extremes?
I would say probably. The NFL is the league with the thinnest margins, I think, of any of the big 4 sports leagues. I actually completely disagree with the Eagles fan. I don't think that they're a legitimate threat this year. I think you have Mahomes coming back off an injury. Travis Kelce's aging out a little bit. I think the real threat and the team to be in their division is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, so you're buying.
I think Justin Herbert, year one, Mike McDaniel offense. You're going to see some creative stuff and maybe actually fully unlock his potential. I really, really like the Chargers, especially at 17-1.
Pretty good value there. It would be a hell of a leap. But, I mean, to be fair, like, we've seen Harbaugh play for Super Bowl. We've seen him make it to a couple NFC championships back in the day. So he's not a stranger there. Liam, who are you jumping on?
I love Connor Griffin. I absolutely detest the Chiefs selection there. You got Rashid Rice can't even turn left. He has no lateral movement anymore. I love another team in the AFC West. I love the Denver Broncos. People keep sleeping on Bo. People are going to see great run game. Adding in Jalen Waddle is a real game changer that's going to help their offense vertically and everything. Sean Payton, one of the best coaches of the sport. Defense, little Nick Bonito, another jump for him. Pat Surtain locking things down. Denver's scary again. Tough place to play.
I'd like to change my answer. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. They can win a Super Bowl.
So
if everybody's just going to crap on my pick, then I'll go with the favorite that nobody's talking about.
So I'm glad that you said this, though, because the angle that I want to take this conversation is not me, like, because honestly, it could be any of, like, the top 10 teams, right? And maybe there's even one that, like that's how this game works. So what I want to highlight is who last year would have had Seahawks Patriots in the Super Bowl preseason. Like, think back to before the year. The Patriots were coming off of back-to-back 4-13 seasons, absolutely miserable. We weren't even sure if Drake May was the guy. The Seahawks, now we look at all the moves that John Snyder made, and we're like, oh my God, this guy's a genius. Like, he's the best GM in all of football. There were a ton of question marks around the roster that he was constructing, and the chief question mark among them was betting on Sam Darnold, who had completely faded the last 3 games for the Vikings, seemingly proving all of the doubters absolutely correct, and yet we emerged the Seahawks being one of the more dominant teams really that we've seen in quite some time. So I guess the question that I want to ask is, when it can be so unexpected what can happen, will the Rams actually get it done? They're the prohibitive favorite. It's a heavy favorite. It's one of the heaviest favorites in the last 15 years. And I found a great article at ESPN where they looked at this, and they looked at favorites since 2000 and when was it? 2006? Oh, excuse me, since 1990. Oh, wow. And it was 15 teams that are kind of akin to the Rams in terms of how heavy of favorites they are. Only one won the Super Bowl. Only one team, and a couple more played. Some missed the playoffs. Some got a limited playoffs. So even though it feels like a foregone conclusion that the Rams will win, yeah, realistically remains about like a 1 in 8 chance.
Yeah, I mean, the hype is there for the Rams. They are a paper champion right now, where they have, the best defensive player in football, Myles Garrett. It appears that the other best defensive player in football before him, Aaron Donald, is going to come back. He just logged a second practice with the team this week. They made some trades in the secondary where they really beefed that up. Matthew Stafford obviously coming off an MVP season. They were very close. They played the Seahawks. They played the Seahawks well last year. Will they take that next step? If it's the Rams or the field, I'm going to take the field. But against everyone, they certainly deserve to be the prohibitive favorite.
It is very interesting that we all just fell victim to that. We believe the Rams are all powerful because we all picked teams from the AFC. When we're picking teams that can win it all, we picked the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Ravens. No one picked the Packers. No one picked the Bears.
Yeah.
But realistically, a lot of the NFC teams have a shot.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Like the Cowboys have a shot.
Yep.
To your
Even
point,
the Saints have a shot.
Where I'm bullish on I agree with you on being bullish on the Cowboys, and I'm like on the edge of choosing them over the Eagles in the East. Like I'm flirting with it at this point. But out of the NFC, I mean, you don't even like. Do we even talk about the Seahawks? Like I continue to feel like the Seahawks, defending Super Bowl champions, are one of the more under-discussed teams in the entire league, considering they're fine. Yeah, okay, they lose Kenneth Walker, but then they draft Jadarian Price, who's dominating camp. The pieces are back, and McDonald is more ahead of the defensive curve in the meta than any other coach in all of football.
But that was the whole thing last year, where the Seahawks consistently throughout the year were just as good, if not better, than the Rams, but everybody fell in love with the Rams despite the fact they had some unfathomable losses. I think back to that loss that the Rams had to the Falcons. It was like, how did that even happen? Even in the playoffs, they almost lose to the Panthers. So I think going into this year,
seems like they're playing in a pretty tough division.
That's right.
That's true. Going into this year, it's kind of similar to a team that's across town in LA, the Dodgers. How we look at the Dodgers as this big behemoth, but they did almost lose the World Series last year on multiple occasions. So it's not like they're completely unbeatable. And yeah, in the NFL, especially playing in the NFC West, I think there's absolutely a scenario where the Rams don't come out.
They are a super team, and for what it's worth, the smoke that I've been hearing is for all the Myles Garrett talk that they're in love with McDuffie as well, that they're expecting him to kind of change everything for them. Now, another interesting function or result of the conversation that we just had, nobody mentioning the Buffalo Bills.
Nope.
Nobody mentioning the Bills, despite the fact that they're tied for the second best odds. Josh Allen statistically has been incredible in the playoffs. If I were to ask you why they didn't get mentioned, why do you think that is?
I only picked one team. I think the Bills certainly.
You said pick one team.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I could have picked like 15 teams on that list.
I know, but what I'm saying is, so you're saying that you just didn't choose them because you wanted to be a bit more creative?
Yeah,
because I don't think the Bills
a little further down the board a little bit.
I also don't think they can win the Super Bowl. But yeah, I was not looking really at the top three favorites right there. But yeah, I think you're right. I don't think
who has a better chance.
Bob, I don't think Buffalo could win the Super Bowl.
So that's what I'm getting at, though. If the odds like them, if they have Josh Allen, who's maybe the best quarterback, what is holding us back? For me, is it? I mean, I hate how they changed head coaches to Joe Brady.
I can't believe there's a guy that believes in a team with Jalen Hurts more than Josh Allen going into 2026.
Look at the postseason records. I mean, it's crazy. Look at what Josh Allen did in that postseason game against Denver, where what did he have? 4 turnovers? Lost.
Now, but that is the exception, not the rule with Allen. I agree with you, but Allen.
And yes, to Allen's
outside
defense,
of that
he was
game,
going up against the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs all the time. But yeah, go ahead.
But I'm just saying, outside of that game, he's statistically been the best postseason quarterback I think ever. He just kept getting that was a misstep, certainly. Cheah, why would maybe you not jump on? Do you think they can win it?
I think the Bills absolutely could win it. What worries me about them, John Gruden always talks about, Coach Gruden, is the green team, the money team. When you're up in the game, the other team is driving down. Who are your pass rushers that are going to get the quarterback down on the other side? I don't believe the Bills have a good enough pass rush. On offense, I mean, they have continuity. Joe Brady is the head coach. James Cook is back. He is fantastic. They added DJ Moore, who Brady has familiarity with from Carolina. Him and Josh Allen. Josh Allen has a legit number one receiver. I still believe in DJ Moore, even though he had a bad year last year. So I think Buffalo on offense is great. Defense leaves a little bit to be desired, in my opinion.
I also think T-Bob, coming off of last year, everybody going into that postseason run was saying, if Josh Allen is going to get it done, it has to be this year.
That's a great
Where there's
point.
no Mahomes, there's no Lamar Jackson, there's no Burrow, and they still couldn't even make it to the conference championship game. So that, I think, is leaving a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth personally. I don't know
makes
if
a lot of
it's Liam's
sense.
as well. I don't know. I still am keeping that in the back of my mind as well.
Yeah, I'm more so on the Cheah alignment of things. I just don't think they have enough sustenance. I don't think the defense could help. Like, Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen. He's going to be fantastic. The offense is going to be rolling. I don't think the defense could win them enough games, steal enough games for them in the end. Also, that new stadium's an absolute joke. A Super Bowl team isn't winning from that dump. Fix your grass. I got people that were getting mad at me because I called out their stadium. I would be looking through plexiglass right now if I was in Section 18.
Yeah.
So, like,
You know what? My other part that I don't love about the Bills offseason, and maybe it like doesn't have too much of a functional result in the field, but the process in which they changed head coaches. Like, I look at the Ravens, okay, and Bisciotti was very sure of himself the entire time. He didn't care they beat the Seahawks. Like, he didn't care. He was always going to make the coaching change no matter what. He knew the guy wanted it. He went after him. It felt proactive. It felt like assured, confident, whereas the Bills just felt emotional and reactive, how they end up changing and end up with Joe Brady. And I wonder if that has a tail effect going forward. But we'll see. We'll see. So everybody's out on the Bills.
No, I'm not. For the record, I do not want to be clipped up in the Bills hate montage if they win the Super Bowl. For the record, so if you were the Bills social person watching this, I believe in the Bills. I would not like to get old takes exposed on the Bills, so I believe in the Bills.
Follow up on that. If the Bills do have a compilation video, I want Cody's check down king for Josh Allen.
Yeah. We have an employee here, Cody, that called Josh Allen a check down merchant, which is in the first half of a game they were losing and then came back to win.
It was week one.
Fashion. It was week one.
Bills fan Cody, by the way.
Yes, noted Bills fan Cody. All right, guys. Coming up next, let's look at some number one picks. There are a lot of number one picks floating around at the quarterback position. Who has the most pressure on them entering 2026? Next, here on WUB. All right, guys, you see the list right there. Those are former number one picks that are entering the 2026 season as starters. And I think here's the game I want to play. I want to discuss each guy's situation a bit, what we think's on the line for them coming into this year, and then maybe establish the person who has the single most pressure amongst all. We'll start with Stafford. I mean, it's coming off an MVP year. How do you view the kind of narrative setting that Stafford's entering the year in, Che?
I mean, they're 5.5 to 1. He was the MVP. He's got to be the guy to get it done. He's had, like last year, obviously he won MVP, but he's had a couple down years by his standards. The past couple of years before that, he needs to be at that MVP level for this Rams future to cash.
If I was going to argue for him and where his pressure comes from, it's simply that he's being held to the impossible standard of anything less than a Super Bowl title is going to be considered a failure this year.
Yeah.
Which I just referenced, like historically, is an impossible bar to live up to.
Having your career peak in a accolades way when you're like approaching 40 is not really fair for the expectations because the quarterback curve, it hits out of nowhere. You like almost never know when a quarterback's going to fall off a cliff. So there's pressure. The only pressure on him is father time, I'd say.
So it's interesting that you say that, Ebo, because both Aaron Rodgers, Stafford's going to be, so he's 38 right now. Aaron Rodgers went from playing at like MVP form to falling off a cliff at 39. Same exact thing with Peyton Manning. He was over like 40 touchdowns and the next year getting benched for Brock Osweiler. So yeah, it can come out of nowhere. How do you feel about Jared Goff this year, Connor?
I don't know. I've always been a fan of Jared Goff in the sense that I think people have maybe too high of an expectation for him and they call him overrated. I think he's pretty accurately rated. Like, we know what he is. We know he's not a mobile quarterback, but if you give him time in the pocket and he's not getting bull rushed, like, he can do really great things for your football team. I just think last year you saw a situation with the Lions where they had a brutal schedule. That NFC North is just such a gauntlet to go through, and they lost both their coordinators.
Yeah,
so it was a big-time rebuilding year almost in Detroit, and I think this year you'll see him bounce back a little bit more, and the team will bounce back.
I'm just curious how long the Lions window is, because it's one of those things where in sports we always are like, oh, well, they got a window, core, Dan Campbell, and it's like it's very fickle success in the NFL, and you never know when like we said, like you hit the cliff or the window shuts, and I'm just curious when are they going to get through their window?
It's funny you say that because that was exactly what I wrote. It's like Goff's kind of won already. He's proven everybody wrong.
Yeah.
But is it also passing him by now?
Yeah.
This is going to be a massive year for them to prove that or not. All right, Cheah. Baker. Oh, wait, sorry. Do you want to add on Goff
I
for
just want
Baker?
to say, I think Jared Goff wins MVP this year.
Okay, there we go. That would be quite the bounce back.
Stevie.
What about your boy Baker Mayfield? MVP candidate through about half the year last year.
Yes, he is going into a huge year. I mean, he turned down $100 million. So anytime you do that, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on you. But I think the weight, honestly, of the entire franchise is on him and Todd Bowles, and that goes hand in hand. If Baker has a good year and the Bucs make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs, I think Bowles is back. I think Baker gets a big extension, and I think they move forward with the core of this team. However, if Baker has another down year, he didn't have a good year last year after he got hurt. If he has another year like that, if the Bucs make the playoffs and are an easy exit in the first round, or don't make the playoffs, I think you could see a shakeup either with Todd Bowles, Baker, or both. I would caution. I do think Baker is going to be back. They do have the franchise tag. I'd be shocked if he's not the quarterback next year, but I think we could start to see the tides changing in Tampa if there's a down year this year.
The one thing that's interesting about Baker is that if he does go to free agency, we really don't see like a true number one quarterback go to free agency, because for the longest time these teams were too scared to let a guy walk out the building. It would be interesting to see if he started a new movement of betting on yourself and getting out in free agency and seeing if more guys like that did it. He was the MVP favorite at one point last season. He was unbelievable.
Over the last 3 years, he's like first in yards, second in touchdowns, I think. They just won't commit to it. For some reason, nobody ever wants to boo Baker. He's got a little bit of Brandon Cooks in him. Cooks always had 1,000-yard seasons, but then nobody ever really wanted him to be the guy.
He's also, like you said with Goff, I think a guy that has proven that people got it wrong. He's already made a success of himself, and so there's no real pressure on him on performance anymore. It's more about where he's playing next year.
Liam, a guy that's going to be looking to prove that people got it wrong on him, Kyler Murray.
Ooh. Yeah, but make no mistake about it, there's absolutely zero pressure on this guy. Top
you don't
top 10. Hold on, you let me speak.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Speak.
Cook bloody.
Top 10 MLB pick. He's already hit that. number one overall pick in the NFL. He's already hit that. Oh, if football doesn't work out, I could go pursue my career in baseball, or I could go play with the Bush.
Yep.
Like, he's absolutely chilling in his life. There's no pressure on Kyler Murray just because he took a small dollar
veteran minimum. He's playing for $1 million this year. $1 million.
He's playing with house money. He's going to have fun doing it. He's playing with two fantastic receivers in Addison and Jefferson. I'm going to get heat for saying Addison before Jefferson, but that was alphabetical. Kyler Murray has a chance to keep playing in the NFL and sustaining his career, but there are so many other things that he could do outside the NFL that, to me, I don't think there is pressure on him.
Also, such a good support system around him. He's got a guy around him in J.J. McCarthy, who was also a top 10 pick.
Well said.
That quarterback room with Kevin O'Connell, considered a guru. Just a very good situation for Kyler to walk in. If it fails, this would be one of the most surprising things ever if Kyler Murray failed at this stop, because he's got everything going for him. It's a perfect situation for Kyler Murray.
Ebo, do you think that there's a greater chance that Kyler Murray is playing for the Vikings next year, the Las Vegas Athletics, Sacramento Athletics, whatever they want to call them, or FaZe? What do you think?
Cheah?
Do you think it's a good situation for him because there's no threat he would lose his job to the backup?
No, it's a great situation for him because he's got everything in front of him. He's got 4 elite receivers, 2 elite running backs, an elite coach, elite line, elite defense. If he fails here, something went horribly wrong.
So I think Kyler's interesting because for him personally, it's as much pressure as he's ever been under. His entire career is on the line, but we collectively have no expectation for him. So it's like if he fails, we're just going to kind of move on with our lives. Like, okay, sure, whatever. Whereas some of these other guys bust, it's a big deal, like Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow is still considered to be a tier 1 top 4 guy. Like, you personally can have a minor quibble with that. That's objective truth. Like the prognosticators and the talking heads in the NFL, the coaches, the coordinators, executives believe he is still a tier 1 top 4 guy. Do you think he has to prove that this year? Or is that on the line this year?
He's incredible when he plays. He just needs to play. If he doesn't play, he's not incredible. If he plays, he is incredible. Like, the Bengals were not good, was it 2 years ago? And he was making a run at MVP.
Yeah.
So he certainly has the goods, but he needs to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, I think everyone expects him to be great, and I have no doubts that he will be.
He threw for almost 5,000 yards in that season, and they still went 9-8 and didn't make the playoffs, which that is the goal here. If Joe Burrow and the Bengals don't make the playoffs this year, I mean, when was the last time they made it? 2022? And they've been riding off of Joe Burrow specifically, has been riding off of that whole wave where he makes it to a Super Bowl and then he goes to the conference championship, and it has not been anything in Cincinnati since. I know they've had terrible defenses. I know the team surrounding Burrow has not been that great, but this is a year they have a severe, like such an easy schedule relative to the rest of the league. You look at strength of schedule, they're always, in every single metric, one of the easiest schedules on the board. I think the Bengals really have to make a push this year, and he needs to lead them to the playoffs, or else, we got to consider moving him out of that top 5.
There's zero pressure on Joe Burrow because
I think I know where Ebo's going.
Because no matter how he plays, people will hold him in high esteem. They'll blame his offensive line. And I'm not saying Joe Burrow's not good, but he does seem to get a little bit more of a pass for play at times, despite having maybe the best receiving core in the NFL for the past 3 seasons. We saw a guy like Jake Browning, who probably shouldn't even be in the NFL, make a sizable run with this Bengals offense. I don't know. I think Joe Burrow is very good, but I do not think that his play will determine whether people think he is good or not.
So I'm with you, Ebo, in that he's fantastic, but if things go awry, he won't bear the blame.
Correct.
The Bengals are a lightning rod. They're like a tank. They'll eat all of that damage. They're sitting there taking the arrows in the back.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. And honestly, if he did get out of Cincinnati, he'd probably dominate. Like, he probably would do way better in a more competent franchise. What about Trevor Lawrence? Lawrence is, what a weird career path where he has the one great year where it's like, oh my God, maybe he is good. Then he immediately falls all the way back down. Now as you're surging again, where do you stand on what's sitting there for Trevor Lawrence this fall?
I am not a Trevor Lawrence believer. I am a Liam Cohen believer, though. So I think he takes a little bit of a step back from last year. It's hard to not be a good quarterback in a Liam Cohen offense. So I think that Trevor Lawrence ultimately will be fine. I don't envision him ever being a top 10 quarterback, though. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't. I'm with you, man. There's parts to like, competent. Sam Darnold in that like 12 range, floating around there. Yes, like I think that could be him consistently, but yeah, I don't see him ever dominating the NFL. There's just a lack of consistency there for me.
Yeah.
Is he $60 million worth $50 to $60 million?
I think you kind
because there is that tier of quarterback that gets paid like that, and then that handicaps your team to an extent of like, all right, well, we can't pay certain positions. Whereas the Seahawks took the approach of, we have Sam Darnold. We probably think he's in the same tier as a Trevor Lawrence, but we're going to pay him a fraction of the price and build the rest of the team. I think it's interesting what you said about Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold being kind of close, maybe similar, not being a top 10 guy. You could still probably win a Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence, but paying him $60 million might make it kind of hard.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. All right, let's run through the last couple. Bryce Young, I've written on my notes, no one cares about what's going on in Carolina or with Bryce Young. That's probably true. Cam Ward, he just got to prove that there's like something there to be excited about, but I think he's kind of off in the corner doing his own thing. Let's end on Caleb Williams. How big is this year for Caleb Williams, Jay?
I think I'm turning in my Caleb Williams hater card.
Okay,
Wow.
officially here today.
Yeah.
On the preseason show.
That's incredible to do when Big Cat's not here. Incredible to do that.
I've told Big Cat.
Okay.
What do you want me to do? We're talking about him now, and I'm a PCA guy. It's PCA.
A friend of PCA is a friend of yours.
I mean, hey, Caleb Williams showed great strides towards the end of last year. What you want to see is more consistency. Can he make the easy throws consistently? He can make every throw on the football field. Can he do that for 4 quarters? He shouldn't need to come back and his team has 10 points in the 4th quarter if he is an elite quarterback. And I felt that happened far too much last year. But they should be a good offense this year. He showed growth. I'm interested to see with this receiving core. I feel like a lot of Bears fans are not talking about Roma Dunze enough. And Luther Burden gets a lot of shine, but he's already nicked up in camp. So I think Colson Loveland has a huge year, though.
Ton of pressure on Williams to prove that he is worthy of the crown that has been given him. Who will emerge out of this group of number 1 picks? Coming up next, let's give out some NFL season superlatives, okay? Talk about teams that are going to burst to the forefront, teams that may regress, teams under discussed, all this and more. Coming up on what? What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to WUB. Hope you're having an excellent Thursday. Our NFL preview continues. Let's talk superlatives, and we'll start with you, Connor Griffin.
Hey, man.
What is a team in the NFL you think is going to take a step back this season?
First of all, might I just say from the last block, Stephen Cheah in one segment saying that he is a Liam Cohen believer and he is handing in his hater card on Caleb Williams.
He's growing.
It's why I have so much respect for Cheah. He had a vendetta against Liam Cohen, and that was shocking to see. Anyway.
He's a big man.
He is a big man. Team to take a step back, I think the obvious answer is the New England Patriots, no?
Yeah.
They had a last place schedule last year. They're able to kind of skirt through that. They had some very decent wins in there, but for the most part, very easy strength of schedule. They then get absolutely waxed in the Super Bowl. They've had all of the offseason drama with their head coach. They get a new person in the locker room who is known to be a little bit of a diva at other places in the league and might cause some problems for the chemistry of the team, but we'll see. I think the Patriots got to be the number 1 answer.
Okay, well, your Philly bias aside, I think that's the most obvious answer in the NFL.
Yeah, I didn't have to throw in the A.J. Brown part, but I wanted to.
You did not. Because the A.J. Brown part's actually the one lone good thing that happened to them this offseason.
Yeah, listen, we'll see.
No, I mean, that's crazy. I'm not doing this. Ebo.
I think it might be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know we just talked about being Liam Cohen believers, but they did massively overperform. Now, that's not saying I don't think they can't win the AFC South, but I do think that they're not going to be a top tier 1 or 2 seed in the AFC.
Bloody, where you at?
I think the obvious answer is New England. I'm not afraid to be in this office, be in this city, and back down from, saying, Chicago. The Bears could be in store to take a step back. Luther Burden being banged up is really worrisome. That feels like it could be a year-long issue. The defense is going to regress mightily. Like, we could be honest men here, right, Debo?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking the words out of my mouth. It's all about the Bears defense. Too much reliance on turnovers last year. Turnovers are a fickle mistress year to year. They were not good defensively last season. And then the Caleb Williams big plays, unbelievable, hard to replicate.
Of course,
they did have a lot of nonsense.
And the doom and gloom and the ominousity, if that's even a word, of Hammond, Indiana overlooks. Come on.
Cheah, what do you think? Who's going to take a step back?
Seattle Seahawks.
That's crazy. What?
Do you think they're going to repeat?
Oh, okay. So you mean?
Come on.
Okay,
That's check.
Fair point.
So a conference championship game
Get him in
is
mate,
taking a step back.
I guess I'm thinking of
teams don't
the
repeat.
playoffs are I
Get him in mate, Cheah.
In the most literal sense, yes.
They won 14 games in the regular season last year. They won. Can we just take a quick time out? This shirt is so folded, it makes me look like Vecna. Seattle Seahawks, I think they're a good team. They lost Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet is already hurt. Jadarian Price has missed some days of camp. This is a team that Jackson Smith and Jigba, it's hard to imagine him having a better year than he did last year. The Rams also got better. The Niners have Mike Evans, and you would imagine have fewer injuries than they did last year.
Liam, like Niners have Mike Evans.
Me and Evo just immediately looked at each other like, that's perfect, Cheah.
I'm just saying, the Seahawks, I do not expect to be 14-3 this year. Does anyone?
There was zero reason for
I
the
don't
Niners
know.
have Mike Evans to be in that one.
I'm kind of.
We're showing the NFC West winner.
I mean, look, to your point, the Rams are favored, right?
Yes.
But I can't quit the Seahawks. I've fallen so head over heels in love with McDonald. But I mean, per the most literal sense of the conversation, you're probably right.
Are you one of these guys who's going to list Sam Darnold as a top 10 quarterback right now?
No, I don't have him in my top 10. I think that's the point of the Seahawks, is that he's not a top 10 quarterback, and that's why what they're doing is so ahead of the curve and solid across the board. Like, they're proving that you don't have to have a top 10 guy to win.
Yeah, their defense is very good.
Defense is unbelievable. The defense is great.
That's believable.
But it's the best defense in the NFL.
Houston.
I mean,
Year-over-year
Houston
defensive
pass rush.
success is also
Houston
tough.
pass rush, yes. Houston, Seattle
Derek
defense.
Stingley.
All right.
Jalen Petrie.
Everybody took my answers, but I will say Panthers. Panthers are obviously good. I mean, everybody's hurt.
We went.
Both the starting tackles
We went
are hurt.
8-9.
Yeah.
We went 8-9.
But
You're
you
the
won the
only
division.
person saying, "Oh, the Panthers."
You won
are
the
gonna take a step
division.
back."
You won the
stunk.
division. You have a
We
first place
stunk. There's
schedule.
nowhere to go. We're already back.
Everybody's hurt.
Our quarterback's as tall as I am. What are we supposed to do?
All right, so who's going to take a step forward then, Liam Blutman? Who's gonna surprise?
I feel like the easy answer stays in the NFC North, and it's the Detroit Lions, which I'm sure is Stevie's answer as well. I agree that Jared Goff has MVP potential this year. They're gonna. The stat comes out every year, that seemingly that the Lions play like in a dome 19 straight weeks or whatever. I don't know if it's really happening this year.
12.
But yeah, so like they're.
Indoors.
Jameer Gibbs is going to put up such gaudy numbers, too. I can't wait for that. Ebo, we already sent in the card in the Big Cat Fantasy League. We're happy about that.
Off the board, Bregman.
Off the board. Jameer Gibbs has gone 1-1 in that league. I'm just excited to watch the Lions play some football. I would like to see the defense improve, obviously, but offensively, they're going to be humming on all cylinders. Again, I think they contend for the North title.
Are you with Liam here, Chen?
I think we're not talking about the Lions enough. Last year, and in the last couple of years, preseason, the Lions had all the buzz. Yeah. And certainly they took a little bit of a step back last year. The division got pretty competitive. I think the Bears are a flashy team that can garner some headlines. I think the Packers are consistently pretty in the mix. And the Vikings, you kind of don't know what you're going to get this year with Kyler Murray and co. But the Lions should be in the conversation for NFC contenders. And I don't know why they're not being talked about more.
And you know what, Cheah? You got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward.
There you go. I mean, you could just keep taking steps
No,
forward.
you could just keep walking forward. I don't think that's true. Connor, where are you at?
Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Is
got
that
it.
an easy one?
I mean, I have the Ravens and Bengals in the same category. It's like, yeah, like if Burrow and Lamar is healthy, they will be better just as a function of health.
But so the difference is, we brought up how Joe Burrow is perceived amid his injury problems. The way Lamar Jackson has fallen down the ranks, at least this offseason, and the way people talk about him amidst his injury problems, it's crazy. Like, it's still Lamar
insanely
Jackson.
disrespectful.
Yeah. And I think
IBS.
he comes in with a chip
does
on his
have
shoulder, and I think the Ravens ultimately catapult to a much, much better season this year than what they had last
The
year.
only thing that I don't know about the Ravens is, again, it is the mentor factor. You're going from like Harbaugh for 20 years now. I don't.
New life.
It's such a variable that I find it tough for me to throw into many of my like predictions with them. I can see it, but it's hard to like predict it.
I'm so much more excited about them in a non-Harbaugh, non-Roman life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. For like again, I'm saying like again variability. Like it could go either way. It just maybe lacks some of the continuity. I'm trying to say, okay, like I believe this. Like I believe the Chiefs will, be better this year than they were last year. What about you, Ebo?
I wanted to say the New Orleans Saints, but the Jordan Tyson injury kind of scares me off a little bit. I think Tyler Shuck is very, very good. I think he might be the best quarterback in that division. I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys. I think every year we come in, for 20 years, everyone's like, Dallas Cowboys hype, Dallas Cowboys hype. There's no Dallas Cowboys hype anymore. It doesn't exist. They're not America's team. They're America's most hated team at this point. So I think Dak Prescott has become so severely underrated in the NFL. He has 2 legit weapons on the outside. If that defense is even like remotely competitive this year, they have a chance to win the NFC. I think the Dallas Cowboys can make a massive jump this year.
I hate the Cowboys, but that was my answer. I am pinching my nose, and I think picking Dallas to win the NFC East. And I hope they fall flat on their face in the playoffs, and their fans are all disappointed. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, they seemingly they should be good on paper. We'll see. It's Dallas. You never know if things are going to go right.
If Caleb Downs is the true difference maker on a defense, like he flips it like a Kyle Hamilton type guy, like they should be very good.
Yeah. And I mean, again, you got Quinn Williams there, dude. You're sitting up, Connor. Is that for? Do you have something to add to this? Do you want to say?
No. I got nothing.
Are you seem like you're?
I'm just watching the Dak Prescott highlights. What a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Where are we at with Jalen Hurts? Here, okay, how about this? So not enough people are talking about, and this could be what? Player, team, whatever. Trying to set you up here.
Jalen Hurts leading the Philadelphia offense. I'll steer away from that though because
no, do that. I want that. I want you to do that because somebody has to advocate for Hurts here because, like some of the other names, he's been kind of pushed to the side.
A lot of people talking down on a Super Bowl MVP, a guy who's outdueled Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl twice. The Philadelphia Eagles got rid of a massive headache in A.J. Brown, who I loved as a player, but he was a headache in that locker room. Also got rid of an extremely incompetent offensive coordinator, went and got Sean Mannion from the Packers. I'm really excited to see what the offense does this year. I know, yes, losing A.J. Brown is a big subtraction from the offense, but Devontae Smith still is absolutely a wide receiver 1 in this league. He now gets a chance to shine, and we'll see exactly how it goes. I'm very excited. Also, something nobody is really talking about, the Pittsburgh Steelers have their franchise quarterback of the future in Drew Aller, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, we've talked about that like constantly on Web this week.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure we kept the streak alive.
Ebo?
Not enough people are talking about, and frankly, honestly, who cares if they're not talking about them? The Arizona Cardinals only have to win 4 games to hit their win total this year. The Arizona Cardinals, the NFL, you can win games. These guys are not like a MAC team trotting out there. These are NFL players with presumably competent quarterback play. Not good quarterback play, but decent to competent quarterback play. I think they can win 4 games, 5 games.
Do you think the decent and competent is going to be Becker or Brissett by the end of the year?
That's a great question. I don't know.
It's probably irrelevant, but
yeah.
I think it's irrelevant. I don't think it's irrelevant. I think it has to be Beck. I think you got to give him the opportunity to play some games at the end of the year, ease him going into year 2, and see if he's truly your quarterback going forward.
Dude, imagine looking forward in time, Week 17, Cardinals, Raiders. Who knows what Arch and Dante Moore are doing at the time? That could have some massive quarterback future implications.
That has massive fantasy football championship implications. There are some great players in that game. That's a McBride Bowers for a title match?
Jay, what do you think we should be talking about more?
I mean, we should obviously be talking more about David Walker. This is the only show in the world that talks about David Walker. He's going to have an awesome year for the Bucs coming off the edge. He missed his whole rookie year last year, got hurt in like day 4 of training camp. He's going to be our 3rd rusher. He's going to be coming off the edge screaming like lightning. No. Your quarterback's face, at least 5 sacks market.
Liam, I have a question for you. Should we be talking more about Ashton Ginty?
I feel like you can, yes. I feel like maybe we talk more about the Raiders improving their offensive line. I also am scared of Mike Washington taking touches away.
We had our producer Matt made a great point earlier this week. Think about this. You got to watch yourself. If you're looking at headlines about M. LaFleur talking about J. Love.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Kind of crazy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right, coming up next, guys, let's close down a little fantasy preview, some best bets as well as we wrap up our NFL 2026 preview here on Wub.
We're also not talking enough about how the Browns are a quarterback away from being the best team in the AFC North.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Thursday's Wake Up Barstool. We've been previewing, talking football all day long, and look at the MVP odds, guys. There they are. Now, obviously, you're going to have your favorites. But if I were to ask you all about value, where do you see value on this list here?
I don't see Jared Goff, so he's got to be over 28-1. So I love the value on Jared Goff. He's going to be 35 to 1.
35
He's
to
going to be
1, dude.
I don't think their defense is going to be incredible. So I think that they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Again, 12 games indoors, as Liam mentioned. He's going to be having to throw the ball and having to chunk it down the field. They've got the receivers to do it. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jared Goff has a massive year.
Liam, can we go back to the first page? Because I do think Goff is likely the only guy on that second page that's even realistic to kind of toy around with.
Disagree. Goff and Bo Nix if the Broncos win 15 games.
But I'm just thinking, but it's kind of the inverse of the Goff point. You mentioned the
Sure,
12
they have great
indoor downs.
defense, but
no, I'm just thinking like whether like Nix wins in a style that is turning it on in the fourth quarter, making badass plays. Like I don't think Bo Nix will have the volume. I'm with you. I'm a Bo Nix believer now.
the great thing about this is the smartest people aren't handing away MVP, and they often love to give it to a quarterback on a winning team. And I think the Broncos could win 14, 15 games, and I think Bo Nix would be the quarterback of that team.
The guy that jumps off this list to me,
I hope he'd be the quarterback of that team.
and I hate it, is Dak 14-1.
I like that too.
Well, the reason being because you mentioned, Liam, that like narratives come into play in this, right?
Yeah.
And if the Cowboys are good and the Cowboys win the NFC East and they're looking like a real Super Bowl favorite, the media, and Dak should be playing great if that's the case, and the media will be tripping over themselves to celebrate the Cowboys, to want Dak to be the MVP. So maybe 14-1. Not a bad play there.
I like that. I'm an honest man. I hate the NFL MVP award. No variance.
Just quarterbacks.
It's just quarterbacks.
Who was the best quarterback on a team that won a lot of games? Cool, sick award. If the best player in the league is Joe Wall, I want him to get MVP votes. If the best player in the league is David Walker, I want him to get MVP votes.
Like Myles Garrett.
Put it in the book.
Well, hey, how about this? Jackson Campbell, the new Miami freshman offensive tackle, he was the first ever tackle to be named Gatorade High School Player of the Year, National Gatorade Player of the Year. And look, we had Indiana taking home the Indiana line, taking home the MVP in Rose Bowl, so we're seeing some movement.
Very true. Pat Coogan and the boys, shout out. I am more of a body armor guy than Gatorade, though.
Me too. I agree. I was just talking about the high school award. Good company, man, Liam. Thank you. Let's talk fantasy football.
Good company, man. You're right.
I'll be frank. I'm terrible at fantasy football, guys. I played forever. I play in one league with my friends. It won't let me quit. I never make playoffs. I never do anything. I need some help. I need some advice. I know you two are very deep in this game. You run leagues.
We might be too deep.
That's what I'm saying.
deep.
Che, what are give me some fundamentals to play with here. Like for the average person out there listening, what do we need to do to just turn in better results in our fantasy league?
All right. Fantasy football has changed. I think there's been a huge shift. In the past, I want to say 5 to 7 years, where sports gambling is now legal.
Yeah.
That is instant. You get your results quicker, your payouts quicker. That has become more of a priority, and fantasy is still very important, and there is a lane for it. But the best thing you do with fantasy football is keep up with your friends and talk a lot of junk. And I think that's what it's for.
Oh,
because
to hang out.
Because there's going to be one winner, and you want to be that winner. You want to be that winner. You want to take it seriously, but you don't want to leave a fantasy league. So if you feel like it's an obligation, that it's taking too much of your time, or you're not checking it, then I think that's more of a reflection of your friendship with the guys than your team.
Okay, so let's say that I feel like we're good friends, though, and I want to be in the league and I want to do well. What are your actual functional tips to how I'm going to turn in my best results?
I created the zero running back strategy about 20 years ago. So I would say a lot of leagues are moving more towards PPR, which is points per reception. So you get a full point for every catch that is made. There are guys like Derrick Henry, even Saquon Barkley doesn't catch a lot of passes, so they're inherently less valuable in leagues like that. So I typically like to target running backs that are going to catch a lot more passes. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson is a great example, but guys like James Cook or Chase Brown are guys that I like to target a little bit more because they have versatility, where Chase Brown, if he's going against a team like the Bucs week 1, who are very good at stopping the run, he can still catch a lot of passes and still be a valuable weapon.
I love zero RB, but it also does kind of depend on the platform you're playing on. If you're playing on Sleeper, how they have their preset rankings, there are so many valuable wide receivers in their database, whereas the running backs kind of get thin so much quicker.
Yeah.
Kind of depends on what platform you're on.
Liam, what about you? Do you have would you have a tip for anyone out there that what's a fundamental piece of your improvement?
Yeah, when I'm playing fantasy football in however many leagues I've been, sometimes it's been 20, sometimes it's been 5. It doesn't matter. I'm fully bought in. I'm the GM. I am auditioning for my spot in a front office one day, or at least I was until I got here at Barstool, and I'll never want to leave here. I am fully locked in, scouring the waiver wire. It is a full-time job, T-Bob.
Yes.
Do not listen to
So
Stephen
you're
Cheah
putting in the full effort.
What Stephen Cheah gave you the, have fun, hang with your friends, talk a little junk. You only scored 73 points this week. Oh, you starred a guy that didn't even play. Ha, ha, ha. No, we're not doing that, T-Bob. You're a killer. I want you to be a killer. I want killer instinct. I got a list of 18, we could call them sleepers, good value picks that I'm like targeting and looking at this year.
I want some sleepers.
Jawan Johnson on your Saints. I think this was before
Third most yards last year. I was kinda
before
shocked
the
to remember.
Jordan Tyson news. One of the best value tight ends that you could get. He's ranked 175 on Sleeper. I think he's as good of a pick, if not better, than some of the guys who are like 100 spots ahead of him at the tight end position. No Jordan Tyson. Now, how many targets he's going to? If you're trailing in games, Shuck's throwing the ball all over to the yard. Jawan Johnson is going to be a key piece. We've talked about Seattle. A.J. Barner I like a lot. I expect a big leap forward for him. He really is going to maybe look at a little pass-catching 2 role maybe.
Okay.
You think?
Okay.
That would be certainly a boost.
Especially in the red zone.
And a value.
Michael Mayer, if Brock Bowers is hurt.
If we're talking sleeper tight ends, I like Cheah Okonkwo.
Yeah, you do.
on Washington. I think he is a great value because I know they signed Stephon Diggs. He's learning the system. You got Terry McLaurin, and then you got pretty much nobody else after that. Obviously, I mentioned Diggs, but Okonkwo lines up a lot in the slot, and they signed him to big money. Zach Ertz is gone. I expect him to occupy that role and then some. So Cheah Okonkwo, I think, is a nice pick.
And an issue you have again with Cheah and I is, one, we're in a 23-team league, so some of the sleepers we're giving you. Michael Mayer is ranked 1,056, which is just an inherently wrong ranking. But we are scouring so far down the list. Like, I've got Chris Bell and Greg Dulcich on the Dolphins are going to be one of the worst offenses in the league, one of the worst teams in the league. But Dulcich is going to, how many targets he's going to get as the T1 of that team, on a team with no real weapons outside of Chain, and they're trading all the time?
Okay. Then Jay, what last thing?
We're in deep August, Liam. I want to ask you this. I think one of the most important questions of the fantasy season is how does the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield shake out?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to touch it.
Okay.
I don't want to touch that backfield. Are you kidding me? I'm scared of taking Jaguars, period. The only one I really would take is Parker Washington. His value is steamed way too high. What about you?
Well, I'm wondering if Bashal Tutin is like a guy you want to target in the second round. Liam Cohen running backs always do well in fantasy.
It's true.
All right, guys, there it is. These are a couple of fantasy sickos chopping it up. Boys, thanks for doing the football show today. Cannot wait. Hey, everybody out there, let's remember this football season, guys. Enjoy the journey, okay? Don't be held to, like, you got to win championship. Enjoy football every single week. Let's celebrate it. Let's love it. Football season is here. We love you. We'll be back tomorrow with the best of show here on Wake Up Barstool.
You're not a killer.